was originally a game that was popular years and years ago. Amazing community rallied around it, kickstarted this project, and now you guys are here today with what looks like a beautiful, complete, gorgeously rendered, and fully lored out game.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Right. Well, I hate to follow David with my answers because he's so animated. I mean,
You're gonna need to do them the same
I'm
way.
like straight laced, you know. But no, I mean, so The Bard's Tale was my first #1 hit I ever had in the industry back in 1985. And then it was a huge trilogy. It was a huge success. And it wasn't until now that I could do a 4th one and bring one on. So the fans have been wanting an official Bard's Tale dungeon crawl like this game for, well, decades, really. And so we're really taking the fan base, we know what they want, and sort of melding it with modern gameplay features that modern gamers expect. So that's what the Bard's Tale 4 is about.
I think that's a differentiator too, because when I think of role-playing games, this is a different type of role-playing game. This is the role-playing, OG style of role-playing game.
Yeah.
So for those who aren't familiar with that style, maybe they're used to turn-based stuff, which it is still, but your classical JRPGs like that, what is the differentiator?
So in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a Western JRPG. So you get to manage an entire party, which means if you like character customization and character progression, you don't just have one character to manage, you get to manage the entire party. And it's not just about finding those cool combos on your fighter or your practitioner, it's about finding those combos inside your party. Can I have a rogue that throws caltrops, and then can I have a wizard that can levitate them onto them, and then when they're rooted, can I have a warrior with a giant pickaxe to do lumbering strike? And it's about finding all those little combos and like breaking the game and feeling really clever.
Yeah, when people ask us, what are the 3 most important parts about making this kind of game? The answer is combat, combat, and combat.
That's
right?
the 3 Cs.
That is the core loop. That is what you're doing, and it has to be fun as hell and visually a big payoff, and that's what we're focusing on with the Bard's Tale.
Yeah, right off the bat, I get that with this UI. I love the way that you see your team here, that you interact with them, and it really makes you feel like a leader and like part of them almost instantly. And you really are going to fall in love with these characters. And you talked about like the combinations, how we're going to want to try and put them together. And it's a little like vague to just say like how many combinations are there. But can you give me like anecdotally some of like the wilder combinations that you built up for these parties?
Sure. Well, to give you an idea of like the scope of like the ways you can customize your party, so you can have up to 6 adventurers in your party. But the first leg of your journey is you recruiting those adventurers and having them join your team. There's 4 archetypes, each with about 60 skills each, usually about 4 to 6 subclasses built within, and you can take multiple subclasses. So there's hundreds, if not thousands, of valid combos you can have. The math is
beautiful.
The math just works out
wonderful.
very quickly. Like you could build your entire team of like your D&D party of all dwarven fighters, or you can like mix and match and try and find all those combos between the archetypes.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm still replaying the Slender I'm still like, seeing this in my head. I love it.
The other thing we try to really focus on is accessibility. Like everybody loves that depth, but you don't want to be hit on the head with it right away.
Right.
So when you start off, you don't even create a character. You're in the world, you're absorbing it, you're listening to music, you're talking to people, and then after you kind of get a feel for it, then it says, okay, would you like to swap out the character you have and create a new one? Or go with the one that you've got. And you've got that. Some people will keep it, some people will roll one up, and then you meet another one, and another one, and another one. So when you get to the complexity that David was just talking about, it comes in naturally and organically, and it's easy for people. So you're not overwhelmed with it in the beginning, but it's deep when you get into it.
And those characters you meet, we really took a lot of effort to really flesh them out. As you explore the world, the different characters will chime in and have conversations with one another about what they're seeing, or talk about the history of like, Green Lady, tell me where you're from. And they'll have these conversations and really try and bring the world to life and like bring their own perspective to the story that's going on around you.
I saw that happening earlier when they were talking about singing a song to kind of lighten the mood of heading into a dungeon that was sure to kill everyone involved.
Right.
And her song was actually about that.
Right.
And then went into Battle to Drink to actually get some status boost in LA.
Yeah, precisely.
Which was fantastic to see.
Yeah, we weave that like sort of lighthearted. The game is severe and serious. There's stakes in the story, but it's very lighthearted. It's sort of like playing Dungeons and Dragons with your friends. Like you are saving the world, but you're with your friends and you're having a good time while you're at it.
Yeah, take a break.
You mentioned hiding bits of lore around, and Adrian, she sang the song about going into the dungeon.
Right.
We were talking to you a little bit about the music and the effort that you put into it. Can you talk to me about like who you assembled, how you built the music, and then what is important to pay attention to in the music?
I've been involved with a lot of soundtracks in my years. I mean, I had the Fallout series. That was one of my one of my games. And that was great music too, but I have to say the soundtrack for this game. So we're working with Jed Grimes, he's in Simple Minds, and he's in Scotland, and we've got the top Galax singers in the world all working on this. So if you've seen the movie Brave, we have some of the singers from that, the top fiddle players, the top, the Bogdan, what is it, what's the drum called?
The Bodhran.
The Bodhran, right? the top Bodhran players in the world. I mean, so really the soundtrack's spectacular, and it's always weaving in and out as you move through the world. You'll just all of a sudden the fiddle will come on, and then you'll come around the corner, someone will be singing just beautifully, and then you'll move around another corner and somebody else. So the music's a
like San
big part of the experience.
Somebody's playing saxophone.
You don't have to tip in this one, though.
I'm like top Bodhran player in the world. Like whoever that is existing. Like man, wish I had some.
It sounds like a bullet point on the box, doesn't
you.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. The most biggest point you had, we were talking back in the other room, how you said in the original Bard's Tale, that was one of the original features, is that you have music and movement, and that's where the name came from, how important music was to the game.
That's right.
And to see you continue it in this game.
That's right. Yeah, music. I mean, a bard, obviously with music, but yeah,
Sure.
the original game series was that on the old Apple II, you couldn't, if you played music, because the processor could do one thing at a time, and that was all you could do. They found a way to play music and move, and then that was like, hey, we can move through a dungeon while playing music. That's spectacular, and that was the big technological breakthrough, and that's why it was a bard.
And we're also innovating in other ways. Up on the screen, you can see our puzzle weapon. This is one of the ways you can advance your party. And so it's not just your characters that you're customizing and making stronger, but you find these weapons in the world. And it's like sort of like The Room. You get to like zoom in, rotate, inspect these puzzles. You're looking for secret compartments. And here you can flow energy from one end of this grip to the other by rotating the pieces. And when you finally solve the puzzle, you unlock a boon, like lighting someone on fire or driving them insane, stuff like that. And so there's little secrets hidden even in the weapons.
What? And so like, okay, if I forget about this and I don't even, like, I get my weapon and I'm just going into battle, I'm still gonna be able to use it,
It'll be
right?
a good
But then
weapon.
one day I'm gonna be like, hey, what is all, and then
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Right,
amazing.
precisely.
Imbued with power that you didn't even know you had.
We bake in lore, we send you on pilgrimages around the world to different elven altars. Like the weapons will ask you to like steal the blood of an enemy and you have to go seek them out, or you might have to, solve mazes or look for secret compartments.
I was gonna ask about puzzles too.
Oh yeah, so the world is just filled with little oddities and puzzles and lore and riddles. Again, like just something that gives flavor. Like as you're going through, you'll find magic mouths, and they're like sentient stone structures and dungeons, and they'll give you riddles that will help you along your journey. Or you have to appease elder gods at offering altars and solve the riddle to know what to put in this altar to open the door, or open this secret, or unlock this chest.
And I don't add also, but although there are a lot of riddles, we don't make you get stuck in the game.
Right.
Right. So those certain riddles you kind of get through, but other ones are like if you solve them, you get some big benefit. But we don't want to hold you up where you can't move forward. So we have a nice combination of the difficulty of the puzzle really determines what you're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that sounds so much fun. So the more time you really start put into
Right.
to puzzling through things, the bigger the reward.
Right. We like every player as they go through the game, they're going to find different secrets than their friend because they're just sort of baked in, and some of them are subtle and some of them are overt. Sometimes you just walk past them and give up, or sometimes you will solve it no matter how long it takes.
And is everyone's game the same? Is anything procedurally generated? So like when I discover something about my weapons, I can go on the forums, talk to somebody else who has a similar weapon.
Right. And so the experience is definitely handcrafted. We put a lot of effort in making sure everything is tuned and precise and feels really good the first, second, and third time you play through. But the party customization is so rich, it's really a different experience each time you go at it.
Yeah, I think the more likelihood is you can't possibly see everything that's there.
Right.
As opposed to needing to randomly generate more.
Right.
That's fantastic.
So for wanting to do that, how long would you say a first playthrough would go?
We have this horrible problem that we think our games are going to be a certain amount of time and they end up being twice as long as we thought. That's
a great
I hate when I get more games with my
We
money.
constantly make that error, but it feels like it's a 30 to 35 hour game right now. We actually told our backers we thought it'd be 25, but that's starting to feel like no. So it could be even longer, but I'd safely say 30 to 35. Yeah.
Well, I love the party customization here. I'm seeing a lot of familiar fantasy tropes. Any classes or races or types of monsters that you've introduced purely from your own imaginations?
Well, we pulled a lot of stuff from Celtic lore,
Yeah.
and so you'll find we reimagine things like the Fashawn, which is like this weird one-armed, one-legged, one-eyed. If you look in old Celtic
Just
lore,
one everything.
it looks like a guy that just got cut down the middle really clumsily,
the
but we've
origin of love.
reimagined them into their own little unique beast that you saw at the top of the video. And then we also try and just pull little bits of Celtic mythology and Celtic culture into the game wherever we possibly can to really make Scarborough feel like a fully realized
Yeah,
place.
we did a full research trip to Scotland and to specifically
Oh,
to
must've
the
been
Orkney
rough.
Islands to do research on their folklore.